After 10 million human beings were killed in the First World War, and after his pregnant wife came very close to death after catching a virus, William Butler Yeats, the great Irish poet, wrote The Second Coming, a prescient and increasingly disturbing work which not only has a canonical place in modern literature but has also made its way to popular culture and contemporary consciousness. Before diving into this apocalyptic vision, it's better to be aware about two things. First, Yeats wrote a book named A Vision, which was a mix of different philosophical and cultural ideas, where he explained, or rather outlined, his so called system of seeing the world. He conveyed history as a movement of gyres, a series of epochs, thousand-year cycles, where each phase of history is in contrary motion against the next, a dimension beyond the limits of human understanding. Secondly, Yeats believed that symbolism doesn't necessarily require an explanation or even an interpretation. The structural integrity of symbols and images and their arrangement could generate truths that can be felt and understood on a subconscious level without their mysteries explained or interpreted away. Now we are ready to dive into this prophecy. Turning and turning in the widening gyre. More and more things are spiraling out of control. This gyre is not just another perennial recurring part of life's gyre. This here is the final one, at least for the current way and form of civilization. The falcon cannot hear the falconer. There are two ways we can look at this line. Let's say the falconers are religion, God, morality, and we humans are the falcons. We humans, the falcons, maybe from our disillusionment from conventional heaven, hell, good, bad morality, or maybe from our honest inability due to such dense hedonistic noise around us, don't want to or are incapable of hearing these falconers. Another way to see this line in a disturbingly relevant interpretation is that we humans are the falconers and our creations, our inventions are the falcons. In this immediate reality, the rising presence of artificial intelligence in our life has made this interpretation all the more definite and clear. AI is the falcon which can at any moment stop hearing us, but still the falconer, us, will never stop training and trusting this falcon until the very end. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. It's all about the center. What is it that holds us to something? If the center isn't strong and defined, anything seemingly beautiful will fall apart. Here in this context, our conventional morality is apparently not enough to make human beings behave decently. We mold and transform our sense of morality every day with changing needs, circumstances, and desires. Our conventional, ever-changing morality is rather a bubble which floats until it is burst by unbounded desires and unanticipated circumstances. Mere anarchy is loosened upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed. In the last few years, this line has proven to be more and more true. In less than 2 years, in the name of killing Hamas fighters, Israeli military has killed more than 50,000 people, with its vast majority being innocent civilians. And there is no inkling of this conflict getting any rest before God knows what. And not just there, we can look at what's happening between Russia and Ukraine. This facade of world peace has been stripped away, like as if you scratch the thin veil called humanity on someone and that human suddenly turns into a complete animal, a hyper-intelligent creature but still just an animal. And everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. Not a song, not a festival, not a celebration, but a ceremony of innocence. A performance. A performance with an audience. Bigger the audience, more intense the performance. Now we are at a stage where even the performance is falling apart. The audience is booing and it's hard to stay in character. The ceremony drowned in itself before it could end respectfully. The best lack of all conviction while the worst are full of passionate intensity. This is a universal truth. The worst are also always the most passionate, most hardworking, and the most ambitious people, whereas many of the best spend more time lamenting the state of the world rather than actively working towards making a change. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. These two surelys clearly indicate unsurety. The poet, the Christian poet, is waiting for the revelation and the second coming as promised in the Bible. But he is having his doubts. The state of the world and the falling apart of illusory religious morality has forced the poet out of his ignorantly blissful cave. The second coming. Hardly are those words out when a vast image of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. Spiritus Mundi is a Latin term which means world spirit. Yeats used this term to indicate the collective unconscious of humanity across the world. The collective unconscious driving most of our actions silently, mostly under sophisticated names. Yeats materialized this abstraction into a visible, troubling image. Somewhere in the sands of the desert, a shape of a lion body and the head of a man. The symbol of a body of a lion with head of a man is used in various mythologies symbolizing power, justice, at times divine punishment, wrath, many a times danger and mystery. Maybe in this poem it symbolizes a kind of humanity, or maybe a product of humanity with unfathomable ability and power for destruction. Maybe it symbolizes something else, but does it invoke a response, this image itself? It sure does. A gaze blank and pitiless as the sun is moving its slow thighs. Sun, usually a symbol of hope, enlightenment, here is blank and pitiless, as if the source of it all is indifferent and useless in any matters of practical significance, while all about it real shadows of the indignant desert birds. Desert birds waiting for death, waiting for food that death brings, hence waiting for death, anticipating death, wishing death. The 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle, and water of beast, its hour come round at last, slouching toward Bethlehem to be born. Nietzsche once said that Jesus died too soon. If he had lived to my age, he would have repudiated his doctrine. 20 centuries of stony sleep is the spiritual ignorance and the stupid religious violence which ensued after the birth and death of Jesus Christ. The cradle is rocking again. Something has been born. The second coming has begun, but it's not just different from the biblical second coming, it's the diametrical opposite of it. Bethlehem is the birthplace of Jesus Christ. The rough beast that's been born in Bethlehem is about to give the last push to the world we have brought to the verge of doom. Maybe everything will dissolve and everything will emerge again. Surely it might. But it's not just that it won't have a place for us, it won't even have the memory of us. We have finished. Our time is up.